Have you ever thought about what it really takes to translate something, especially something ancient? Today, we're going to tackle a huge question by looking at a classic text from traditional Chinese medicine, the Huangdi Neijing. And believe me, it's about so much more than just swapping out words.
Right, this is the big challenge. How do you take wisdom that's literally thousands of years old, full of concepts that don't have a modern equivalent, and make it work for today's audience? How do you make sure that deep meaning doesn't just get lost in translation? Let's get into it. So here's the core idea, which comes from some really fascinating research. We need to stop thinking about translation as just a mechanical word-for-word process. Instead, think of it as an act of persuasion. The translator's real job isn't just to be correct, it's to convince you, the reader, that the original message is important, that it makes sense, and that it has value. And this whole process is a delicate dance. You've got the translator's choices, the text itself, and the cultural background all mixing together and hitting the reader. And that reader then has their own reaction, right? They learn something, they feel something. In the end, it either clicks, the persuasion works, or it doesn't, and the message just falls flat. All right, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll start by digging into 4 powerful persuasive tools a translator can use: logic, emotion, structure, and beauty. Then, we'll ask the big question: does this stuff actually work on real people? And finally, we'll wrap it all up with what this tells us about the true art of a translator.
First up, logic. This is all about making a rational case that clicks with the reader. And this is absolutely crucial because when you're moving ideas from, say, ancient China to the modern West, you can't just assume the logic will transfer. You actually have to build a bridge for it.
Okay, check out this classic example from the Huangdi Neijing. If you translate it literally, it says something like, the liver is born on the left, the lung is stored on the right. Now, if you know anything about basic anatomy, a little alarm bell might be going off in your head because the liver is mostly on the right side of the body. This is where the translator's choices become so important. One translator, Li, goes for a literal version, which just creates this logical clash for a Western reader. But look at what another translator, Ni, does. He focuses on the function in Chinese medicine. He explains that the qi, or the energy of the liver, moves up on the left. See that shift? He's not talking about physical location anymore. He's talking about energetic movement. And just like that, the contradiction disappears, and the statement makes perfect sense within its own system.
Here's another famous one. This line gets to the very heart of preventive medicine in TCM. The idea is that the wisest person doesn't treat a disease that's already taken hold. They treat it before it even starts. And the text compares this to a good ruler who doesn't crush a rebellion that's already broken out. They prevent the rebellion from ever happening in the first place.
So how do you translate that? Well, some versions are pretty direct. But look at Ni's translation again. He makes a crucial choice. He keeps the original analogy. Just as a good government was able to avert war. By including that metaphor, he makes the logic so much stronger. It connects the idea of preventative health to something everyone understands: preventing chaos. It becomes instantly intuitive. Okay, next up is the appeal to emotion. We're moving beyond pure logic now. This is all about making the reader feel something, to connect with the tone and the spirit of the original text.
So, this passage is describing these incredible figures from the past, sometimes called achieved beings or perfect persons. These were masters who lived in complete harmony with the universe. The original Chinese is just dripping with this sense of awe and deep respect. The translator's challenge? Making an English-speaking reader feel that same awe.
And wow, you can really see the difference here. One translation uses very neutral, almost clinical words: abiding by, adapting. It's fine. But then look at Nai's version. He uses emotionally rich words like true virtue and supernormal. Those words have weight. They have a feeling. He's not just telling you about these people. He's making you feel the wonder the original author felt.
Now for our last 2 appeals, and they are totally connected: structure and beauty. This is all about the craftsmanship of the text, how it's organized, how it flows, and honestly, how good it sounds.
So, you can think of it this way. Structure is the skeleton. It's about arranging the ideas so they're crystal clear and easy to follow. And beauty is the artistry. It's using powerful images and elegant language that really sticks with you.
A perfect example of structure comes from a passage comparing the healthy way people used to live with our modern, not-so-healthy habits. In the original text, it's just one giant block. But the translator, Ni, makes a simple but genius structural change. He splits it into 2 clear paragraphs, and he adds little signposts for the reader, words like thus, and so it is not surprising that. It's a small change, but it makes the whole argument flow so much better and makes it way more persuasive.
Now let's talk about beauty. The Wangdi Neijing is full of these incredible, vivid metaphors. For instance, to describe the pulse of someone who is critically ill, it uses this image, like a finger snapping a stone. You can almost hear that sharp, brittle sound, can't you?
So just translating that literally might not have the same punch for a modern reader. So look at what Nye does. He adapts the metaphor. He captures the hardness, hard as a marble, but then he adds a new powerful image that we can instantly relate to, frail, as if a rope is on the verge of breaking. He's created a new piece of art that's just as powerful as the original, but it speaks our language. It's beautiful and it's effective.
Okay, so we've broken down these 4 persuasive tools: logic, emotion, structure, and beauty. It all sounds good in theory, right? But the million-dollar question is, does any of this actually make a difference to real readers? Well, the researchers actually tested this. They surveyed readers, some with a background in Chinese culture and medicine and some without. And the results, they're pretty stunning. On a 5-point scale, every single one of these strategies was rated highly by both groups. It proves that these techniques really do help people from different backgrounds connect with the text.
But here's where it gets really interesting. There was a subtle difference. For the readers who already knew a bit about the subject, the thing they valued most was beauty, the skillful use of language. Before the complete newcomers, the most important thing for them was evoking emotion. And that suggests that for someone new to an idea, that emotional connection might be the most powerful doorway in.
So after all that, what's the big picture? What's the main takeaway from all this? Let's wrap it up.
It all comes down to this. Translation, especially when you're dealing with something this deep, is not a science, it's an art. The best translators aren't just walking dictionaries. They are artists and persuaders. They're carefully balancing logic, emotion, structure, and beauty to build a bridge, a really strong one, that can carry ancient wisdom across time and across cultures.
And that kind of leaves you with a pretty amazing thought, doesn't it? If this is what it takes to unlock the wisdom in one ancient text, it just makes you wonder, what other incredible knowledge, what other profound ideas are out there in the world, just waiting for the right artist to come along and build a bridge for the rest of us?